Hey, what's up YouTube? It's IazRXD here, and today I will be bringing you my hero deck profile. I will apologise in advance for the glare on some of the cards. The light in this room that I'm recording in is fairly bright, but it also casts quite a bit of shadow, so I'm not sure if you'll notice that. But yeah, so I apologise for the glare, and I'll try and actually keep all the cards in a position where you won't get affected by the glare. As always, if you like what you see in my video and you want to see more, like, subscribe, and leave a suggestion in the comment section below on how you think I could improve my videos, how you think I could improve this deck, and also what you'd like to see in the future. So without any further ado, we'll get cracking. Just move that to one side. To start things off, we have our free Shadow Mist, the ace of the deck in my personal opinion, and if this card wasn't in the deck, it would be pointless and redundant. Next up, we have free Bubble Man. Its ability to special summon itself from your hand if it's the only card in your hand is very beneficial to this deck because it allows you to go into those rank 4 plays, but also it's good to swarm the field if need be. Next up, we have our Aliases, 2 copies. Alias is a 1/9 beat stick, and as a level 4 it can be used to go into rank 4 plays, but also along with Mass Change you could also go into a Koga, which itself is a great card. We then have a 1 Ocean. I did run 2 Bubble Man, 2 Alias and 2 Ocean at one point, but then I acquired a 3rd copy of Bubble Man, so I just substituted an Ocean out. I do plan to take this Ocean out eventually, replace it with something along the lines of Instant Fusion, so I could then go into a Northern if I've decided to put that in. But at the minute it's going to stay as 1 copy in this deck because I find that it still works and the deck isn't completely broken. Next we have our 2 Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk is a great card. You ditch a spell card, you special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your deck, and from that you could bring out a Shadow Mist. Then you activate Shadow Mist's ability to add a Mass Change to hand, and then you could effectively first turn Dark Claw if you wish. Then we have our final 2 monsters, which is Goblinberg. Goblinberg, when normal summoned, allows you to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand. Again, this is a way to go into those rank 4 plays, and also bring out an extra hero if need be that you could Mass Change. And speaking of Mass Change, we're going to run 3 of those. Mass Change next to Shadow Mist is one of the most important cards in this deck. Without it, you won't be able to do many things that you could do at present time. Because we play free Mass Change, we also play free Mass Charge. Mass Charge could be cut down to 2 if you feel it's a bit too cloggy, but for me, 3 works, so I'm going to keep it at 3. If you do decide to build a hero deck, feel free to personalise it any way you can, or any way you wish. For example, take a Mass Charge out, add a Mass Change 2, or something along those lines. It doesn't really matter, but in my personal opinion, and going by my experience with this deck, free Mass Charge is bang on. After Mass Charge, we run our free Hero Lives. You pay half your life points and special summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero monster. I've used this on my first turn, specialed a Shadow Mist from deck, add a Mass Change to hand, and then I've either Dark Clawed on my first turn, or I've set that Mass Change, and then Dark Clawed on my opponent's first turn, which means I get both of Shadow Mist's ability. Yeah. So following that, we have our 1 Form Change. Form Change was added quite recently. You simply return a hero from a field. Sorry, a hero fusion monster. So for example, you could return a Dark Claw, and then that allows you to special summon a Vapor from the extra deck, ignoring the use of a Mass Change spell card that's listed on its card description. And I basically use Form Change to protect my massed hero monsters that are already out. For example, I'll give you a scenario where I've attacked with a Dark Claw, they've activated a Mirror Force, and then to protect my Dark Claw, I Form Changed into a Vapor. Not only did I save my Dark Claw, but I also brought out a monster that's unaffected by the effective Mirror Force. So yeah, that's why I run one, and really any more than one does clog the deck. We then have our two Miracle Fusions. Basically these two cards allowed me to bring out my 2 copies of Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. I don't run any polymerizations or anything like that. This is the only way I can bring out my Absolute Zero. Sometimes I might ditch one with a Summon a Monk's ability. But yeah, sometimes I might side deck 1 copy and stick in a Parallel World Fusion just to recycle the monsters that I previously banished with the other Miracle Fusion. And that also then adds them back to my deck, which gives me more access to more monsters if, you know, the situation calls for it. The next 3 cards are all searchers. That's 1 Rotor and 2 Emergency Call. Emergency Call adds heroes from deck to hand, whereas Rotor can be any warrior. The main target with Rotor, or the main target that I go for personally, is Goblinberg, just simply so I can go into those rank 4 plays. Next, I run 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. MST, it does slightly pale in comparison to Twin Twisters, but I find that I can't really use Twin Twisters in this deck because I can't really afford to ditch cards from my hand without gaining something else in return. For example, Summon a Monk's ability. So that's why I've stuck with 2 Mystical Space Typhoons as opposed to 2 copies of Twin Twisters. The final spell card I run is Swords of Revealing Light. Not only can it, you know, be used to stall your opponent for 3 turns, but it can also be ditched with Summon a Monk's ability if you really need to. Then we play 2 copies of Hero Signal. Hero Signal is just a way to bring out a Shadow Mist by just losing one of your monsters from the field. Shadow Mist can then add a mass change to hand, so you've got a mass change for your next turn. Then we have 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. I find that every deck should run a Bottomless. If not, that's okay. Again, this is my personal opinion, and you're completely okay to disagree with it. But in my experience, running this does really benefit a deck. Then we have 1 Call of the Haunted. I did run 2 originally, but I find that with only 13 monsters, I didn't really need 2, so I just took it down to 1 and side decked the other Call of the Haunted. Then we have a Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Again, it's a stalling card, and I only really use it if I have to. Well, if I have to, really. I tend to avoid using Scrap Iron, and sometimes I will take out Scrap Iron and the next card, which is Negate Attack, and replace it with 2 copies of Max C. Max C, just for the extra bit of draw power if you're playing somebody with pendulums or who likes to spam special summons. After Negate Attack, we have a Grand Horn. Grand Horn can also negate special summon monsters, whether it's XE summons, fusion summons, synchro summons, or pendulum summons. It just negates the summon, so if they don't get what they want to do. Then we have 1 Mirror Force and 1 Quaking Mirror Force. Quaking is used just to shut down any pendulums, because obviously a lot of people, when they play pendulums, they tend to play lower level ones. So if a pendulum summon 5 monsters and then attack, activating this flips them all face down, which means they can't do anything with it, because they've got no high level monsters to then tribute summon using the monsters that have been affected by Quaking. So that's my main deck. I'll quickly just sort this out. As you can now, I'm flicking through the cards right now. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that is actually 40 cards. I know I actually dropped this deck before filming, so I just wanted to make sure it's 40 cards. So yeah, move that to one side and I'll get cracking on the extra deck. We play 3 copies of Dark Law. You can get away with playing 2, but just for the safety of it, I play 3. 2 Koga. Koga's a great card. It gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls, and you can also banish 1 hero monster from your graveyard, and then one of your opponent's monsters will lose attack equal to the banished monster's attack. We play 1 Acid and 1 Vapor. Acid, when it's special summoned, it destroys all spell and trap cards your opponents have, so field spells, pendulum zones, and obviously your back row. I run a Vapor just in case I want to, sort of mass change from acid into Vapor or form change from Dark Claw into Vapor. I would like to run 2 copies of acid, but at the minute 1 works fine. Divine Wind is another target with form change. Again, when form change comes out and is replaced with something along the lines of instant fusion, this will also come out as well. We then have 2 copies of Absolute Zero. This is bought out with 1 of 2 copies of Miracle Fusion, and its ability to destroy all monsters that your opponent controls when it leaves the field is beneficial, especially if you mass change Absolute Zero into an acid. They then effectively lose their entire field unless they can negate the summon of it. So that's all the fusion monsters I run. I then run 5 XC monsters. Comics Hero King Arthur. I guess it sort of fits the hero theme. Comics Hero, Elemental Hero. Yeah, that's why it's in there, but I also like the artwork and it's a personal choice to go in there. Gusto Emerald. It's basically a sort of recycler. You ditch a material, sorry, and then you target 3 monsters in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck and draw a card. Next we have number 39 Utopia. Not only does it have decent attack, but it can also stall and sort of cancel or negate 2 attacks your opponents make. Then 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. This card is a great card. You detach 2 materials, target an opponent's monster. That targeted monster loses half its attack, and this card gains the same amount of attack as what was lost from that monster. And finally we have number 101, Silent Honorarch. This is a beautiful card and I just love its ability to detach 2, steal 1 of your opponent's monster and use it as an overlay material. Right, so that's actually my deck profile there, guys. As I mentioned, I will occasionally take an Ocean or a form change or even a mass charge out and sometimes replace it with 2 copies of Max C. This just adds a little bit of draw power into the deck if you find that you're top decking quite a bit. So yeah. Anyway, before I sign off, guys, I want to ask you a massive favour to not only like, subscribe and comment, but also check out my 2 friends' YouTube channels, YGOViking and TCG Fanatic. The links to their channels will be in the description below. They are fairly new to YugiTubing. YGOViking probably has about 2 months of experience doing this, whereas TCG Fanatic started last week with my help. If you watched any of my previous videos or browsed my channel, you'll know that I did a wager duel with TCG Fanatic. I hope to have another one of those uploaded soon, whether it's a wager duel with somebody who goes to my local, or with TCG Fanatic or YGOViking. So yeah, if you could check those 2 channels out, that would be a major help. And yeah, so one more thing before I do sign off. I want to give you guys a heads up on Saturday. It's the sneak peek for Shining Victories, and I will be doing a sneak peek 5-pack on opening, and that will be uploaded Saturday night after the event. So just a heads up to you guys. And this is iAzerXD signing off.